Alright, ladies and gentlemen, it is another day of Ragnarok because we have another reagent for you. Now, this one is actually kind of significant, and yes, again, we're in Marleybone, so again, you want to make sure to get some of the stuff before the Barkingham update drops this summer, because it will be tough to get reagents, because people might be trying to go through the Marleybone story, if they're low level, just to get to level 40, which they actually gotta get through Mushu to do that too, but still. It could be a part of the process. Either way, this next reagent, this is going to be the first obstacle when it comes to doing your crafting quest. Because the Wizard City one is dumb easy, the Krakatopia one is dumb easy. First hurdle as a crafter is going to be the Marleybone crafting quest, which you get from this lady right here, in which we're just going to go to her standard recipes, and she's going to have you craft something called the Stinger of the Scorpion. And as you can see, you need a reagent called scrap iron. And this scrap iron, this is actually pretty tough to get if you don't know where to go. Should get enough when questing throughout the world, but if for some reason you don't, I'm going to show you every single recommended location to go here in Marleybone. And because it's in Marleybone, it's early game, you can get access to it pretty early. There's actually 3 streets, and I'm going to show you all 3 streets in case you have any preferences. So we're going to make our way to Chelsea Court first, as Chelsea Court is the second street you end up going to in Marleybone. After you beat Hyde Park, your next street is going to be Chelsea Court. And that's going to be a prerequisite to getting into Digmore's actual dungeon, which is the Ironworks. You don't gotta worry about Kensington Park. That's a challenge dungeon. That's like the last challenge dungeon of our... Alright, so now that we are here in Chelsea Court, so the theme of the scrap iron farm is that in every single place where we're gonna go get our scrap iron, the scrap iron is always nearby the teleporters. So for example, you want to go to all the teleport areas so that you can go around the general vicinity, like within like these 50 yards or whatever, and that's where the scrap iron spawns. So I'm gonna check here just to make sure that this is one of them. Well, that's not scrap iron, but that is stone block, so I'll grab that. So now we're gonna go to the actual teleporter hub, and the only one of these you don't really want to worry about right now is you don't want to go to the balloon car. That's where we just came from. But let's go ahead and, before we go to a teleporter, let's just walk around here, because there is a chance of it spawning around here. Not guaranteed, but there's always a possibility. Because it could also be just generally on the ground, too. Like, it's not super specific, but you still want to check just to be safe. Also, if you need the Z quest, here's the cat for Chelsea Court, which is next to this main teleporter at Chelsea Tower. So we're gonna go to Ice Pick's warehouse first. And around here, this is where the general vicinity for these reagents would be spawning at. In this case, let me just see if I got lucky or not. Actually, let me switch realms first to something more obscure. Let me go to, like, Nyx. Alright, there we go. So now that we're in our first area properly, the scrap iron is actually tough to find, so there's always a chance, in this case I got lucky, there's always a chance for you to not get, like, very good luck, even in the best spots. So you just kind of want to check the general vicinity if you can. Check behind barrels, check behind things, because Marleybone reagents do like to hide behind stuff. That's just kind of a general rule of thumb. So now we're going to leave there. We just left Ice Pick's warehouse. You don't want to go there again. And now we're going to go to Hooligan's Hangout. And this is another area to check the general vicinity for scrap iron. And again, the spawn rate is not the best for this reagent, and that's just the reagent altogether. That's not it, but I do see stone block, so I'm going to go for it. There's that. But yeah, that's really the biggest pain, is the fact that the spawn rates of this reagent are not good at all. So even if you go to the best spots, which are going to be these, there's still a very good chance that your luck might not be very good. Like I'm going to all the major spots here, and I only found like one that actually gave me a node. I think that's Mistwood. Yeah. So as you can see, that was a horrible run. So I'm gonna go ahead and keep realm hopping a bit, going through these until I get a good go. Now we're gonna try this again. Let's keep looking around the general vicinity if we can find some scrap iron. That's not scrap iron, but that is a wooden chest, so I will absolutely take that. Because we switched realms, things should have spawned hopefully now. Oh wait, a Mistwood. You find some Mistwood too here and there. Now we're back at Ice Pick, and it looks like we got a spawn here. Yep, there it is. And you also get a chance of spring. I keep forgetting about that. So now we're gonna go to Shakes, I think is the last one. Check around the vicinity. Looks like I did not get too lucky. But yeah, so as you can see, the spawn rate is not very good whatsoever, really at any of the places. But if you don't like this route, there's a couple other places that we're gonna go to instead. And I'm gonna go ahead and make my way to there now because the other two locations are all in the same general area. All right, so if you're new to Wiz for any reason, like if you're going through your first character or an alt character, once you beat the Ironworks to complete the Digmore Station main area, your next major area you're going to go to is this place, Scotland Yard. This is going to be the place that has the two streets where we're going to go to. Now, when you get into Scotland Yard, you're going to see Officer McGruff, obviously, and then you're going to do some quests here and there where these cells you eventually fill over time. They might start empty if you're doing the story, so keep that in mind. And now we are here on the Scotland Yard roof. This is not one of the areas where we're going to look, but it doesn't hurt to look to see if anything spawns anyway, because especially if you're a new player, you might never know. But we're going to go to Newgate Prison over here first. Welcome to Newgate Prison. This is going to be one of the other two areas where we're going to look for scrap iron. And it's the same thing as Chelsea Court, is you want to look at the teleporter areas. Those are going to be the places to look when it comes to finding scrap iron. In this case, I'm just going to go to the hub here. I'm going to look around just in case. I don't see anything other than the cat here. If you need the Z quest, there's the cat. So now we are going to go to Mugsy's Lair, which is going to have a sigil here for a side quest that I have not gotten apparently. And this is one of the areas that will have scrap iron. Unfortunately, we didn't get lucky, but there is a silver chest. I'm going to check this general vicinity up here just to make sure I didn't miss anything. Looks like I didn't. All right, to the next teleporter. Now we're going to go to O'Leary's Tower. This is another area where we're going to go. In this case, we got lucky. We got some there. I'm going to double check. I think this is a spawn right here. Yup. Got 3 in this case. 1 from the first, 2 from the second. So now we're going to go to the last teleporter, which is North Clock Tower. And you can do this in any order you want, by the way. It literally doesn't matter. But the general rule with scrap iron is just literally use the teleporters and look around the general area of where you're going. That's the general rule when it comes to scrap iron. Looks like I didn't get much luck there, but so far for me, Newgate Prison has been the better place for me so far. I got more there. If you're also looking for spring, scrap iron does have spring as its rarest, so keep that in mind. I'm also referencing the rare harvest too, because there's always that chance that somebody might need it. Now we're actually going to go ahead and leave Newgate Prison because we're going to go to the final area, which is called Knight's Court, which is the other street for Scotland Yard. Once you leave Newgate Prison and you come back here to this general area, Knight's Court is this way, and this is the other street of Scotland Yard. And once you beat this street in the main story, that's when you can get to Katzenstein's lab, which is actually a very, very iconic dungeon. Also, if you need the Scotland Yard roof cat, there's the cat there. And now for Knight's Court. This is basically the same rule of thumb as the other two, is the teleporters are going to be your best friend. Not just for travel, but on top of it, it's also because that's where you generally find scrap iron the most common, is you're going to find it most common around the teleporter's general area. Like maybe like those 50 to 100 yards, you want to check around. I don't think there's going to be any here, but it never hurts to check. Always check your surroundings. Also, if you need the Knight's Court cat, there it is right there. So now we're going to go through our teleporters. We're going to go to B-Man's warehouse first, in my case. But again, you could do this in any order you want. Doesn't matter. And here, you just want to look around in these hiding areas. For example, here's one right here, which I got one with a spring. I think that little area was the only spawn area for over here, but it never hurts to check. So this was B-Man. Now we're going to go to Bricks. Over here, it's basically the exact same design. So we're just going to look here as well, see if we get one. Looks like we didn't, but there are two. But when it comes to this design that you see, that you might see a lot, those are the 2 spawn areas for this general vicinity. Again, if you have time, check up here, look around, see if there's anything. Otherwise, it's usually just those two. And finally, we're gonna go to Amy Brooks's place. And over here, there's also a good chance of scrap iron. I think I see it over there. There's also a silver chest, but I'm not gonna use it. So here's a scrap iron, and here's a scrap iron. A few different spawns. So honestly, my recommendation when it comes to all the locations that I've just shown you here today, I recommend either or of these Scotland Yard streets. They seem to drop better, at least in my opinion. So I would just kind of pick one, either Knight's Court or Newgate Prison. Grab your scrap iron from the teleporters, and then realm hop. Obviously, the route is kind of long, especially if you're going to try and do all 3 areas. So I recommend just picking one, whichever one you feel like gives you best luck, or where you feel like the demand is the lowest, and then just kind of realm hop through it. So that is going to do it for here. And with that scrap iron, that is going to allow you to not only complete your crafting quest, but also progress you to the Mushu crafting quest, where I'll probably make that the next video of that rare harvest, of that difficult to get reagent. Because starting in Marleybone and onwards, there's always that one reagent that's kind of difficult to get. So that's really going to be the main videos of this series, is the hard to get ones. I'll do the easy ones too, but a lot of them are mostly going to be the hard to get ones. So hopefully these videos will help you in the future. If not now, maybe 6 months from now, maybe a year from now. We'll just have to see. But for now, that's going to do it for scrap iron. So thank you for watching. Hit the like, hit the comment, hit that subscribe button. You were trying to get to 1,000 subs for the first time in our lives. My name is Tyr, and I will see you in the next video. Have a good night.